Hey everyone, it's Melissa from Bee and the Bear Backyard Homestead here in the Central Valley of California, Zone 9B. It's been a hot minute since I've been on here. I'm sorry, it's been a busy month and just a lot of things. Seamus's arthritis has been acting up and everything, and so it's just been like water and, talk to doctors and that kind of stuff. So anyways, I just wanted to, before July was over, go ahead and do a backyard full tour of the gardens, the trees, and everything, and tell you what's going on and what my plan is for the fall. Because things are starting to die back, and some things just didn't even do anything. So it's time to just reset and get ready to plant stuff for the fall. So, anyways, let's get started. I'm also going to be watering in between, so we'll get started now. So here is the cactuses. They're doing well. And see, my little aloe has a baby. But yeah, cactuses are doing good. I just weeded around here a little bit. It is hard to weed around cactuses. I did get poked. So anyways, just wanted to show you guys that these are doing well. And I'm excited how big they're getting. Weeds have definitely been a big issue. And this month I kind of, just kind of gave up. You'll see that in the main garden too, that I've just kind of given up. Oh look, here's a moth. When I was little I used to catch these. And then in second grade, we had a tarantula as a classroom pet. And we used to feed the tarantula bees and then moths that we caught. So anyways, here's the corn, glass gem corn. It's looking really good. As you can see, we're getting the little hairs. So we're gonna have, some corn here soon. So that's pretty cool. Pumpkins are doing okay. We're getting there. And I'll show you on the other side here in a minute, more pumpkins and the sweet potatoes. So in here, this is like my three sisters. Actually, there's four sisters in this one because there's sunflowers too. Anyways, so this is my three sisters. These are pumpkins and gourds and winter squash. And I forgot which ones I planted. I'll have to go back and look at other videos. And then back here is some sweet potatoes that I just threw in there. And this is the glass gem corn. So it's doing really good. And for those that might not know, glass gem corn is a corn that you could use for decoration. It also you can use for popping. It makes a really good popping corn, but you do have to dry it out for a couple years. And then also there's beans in here. Here's a bean. Black beans and pinto beans is what I planted in here. The beans didn't do as well, but they are coming up a little bit at a time. So anyways, and then back here is the calendula. It's dying. It's too hot. I mean, we've had like 17 consecutive days over 100, which is pretty typical for our summers here. And so, yeah, it's just dying. Artichoke is dying. I'm just trying to keep them alive until it gets cooler here in a couple months. Here we don't usually get cooler until like November. Although we've had a couple of Octobers that have been cooler than usual, so that's hopeful that it will be like that. So anyways, we'll move on. So I don't know if I shared it in the last video I did, but I did get 2 elderberry plants, and I planted them, and then of course it got really hot, and so they are struggling. Basically what I'm trying to do now is just water them as much as possible to keep them alive, and hopefully when the temperatures cool off that they will start growing and doing really well again. That's my hope. If not, then I'll have to get some new bushes and plant them in the fall, not in the summertime. I learned my lesson on that. I also learned my lesson that if sunflowers pop up around your fruit trees, pull them out, because I guess I didn't learn this until I let all the sunflowers get big, that they attract a lot of bugs and that could hurt your trees. And so next year, if I have any sunflowers popping up around my fruit trees, I'm going to pull them out, because I did have a problem with bugs on some of my trees. Not that they were hurt in their production or anything like that. It just made the leaves kind of yucky. So anyways, hopefully you heard that with the water going. So here is one of the raspberry bushes that I propagated. It's doing good. Obviously probably not going to get any raspberries from it this year. It'll probably be in the spring, but you never know, in the fall we might get some. Here's the blackberry that I propagated, and it's doing well too. And whoop. So this is what I'm talking about. Here is one of my apple trees. This is the Granny Smith, and it has a ton of sunflowers around it, as you can see. And then look, this is what happens. You know, the sunflowers just attract bugs, or at least that's what I read. And so next year I'm not gonna let this happen and I'm gonna pull out the sunflowers from around the trees. You know, I'll let other ones grow because I like all the pollinators. So, but anything that's around the tree like this, I'm definitely gonna be pulling out. Because this one over here, this is my ghost apple, and it does have a little bit of bug and pest pressure, but not like the Granny Smith. So definitely gonna be doing that. And so we'll move on. Hey guys, look, it's George. He's eating from the George feeder. Bye, George. And so back behind my Granny Smith, there's a blueberry bush as well, and it's doing okay. Again, like, I need to get the next year. Sunflowers won't be growing around here. Over here I have the blackberry that I bought this year, and it's doing really well. It did have blackberries on it, but they burnt up really fast because we had some super warm temperatures. Here is our Cadota fig, looking good. It's got lots of figs on it. Hopefully we'll get some soon. And then we're gonna come over here. Yep, it's really dry around here, and that's typical here for our summers. We don't get a lot of rain in the summertime. We probably won't get any rain until maybe October, usually in November. Here is a raspberry that I propagated too this year, and it's doing really well. Here's our main raspberry bush. Definitely gonna have to trim it back in the fall to get ready for next year. But we got a lot of raspberries this year, more than we have in the past, so I was pretty happy about that. Here is another one of our fig trees. This is the tiger stripe, and as you can see, we got some figs on here. John is anxiously waiting for these because this is his favorite. Over here is our other blueberry bush. This is the pink blueberries, and I got a few off of here this year, and they were really good. Here's the rest of our raspberry bush. As you can see, it's sending out little shoots. So we'll have more raspberries. They're gonna take over. Here's our guava. This tree has really been struggling this year because we had such a late like spring, well, not late spring, but like it was just cool for so long that this tree really didn't get a good head start. And so it's doing well, and we have no new growth on it and stuff. I'm just not sure if we're going to get any guavas this year, which John's really sad about because he really enjoys them. They really like warm, moist temperatures, so I'm trying to keep it moist, and it is warm. So hopefully maybe in the fall we'll get some guavas going on here. And then back here is our other blackberry bush, the one that I thought the dogs had taken out, but it has come back and it is doing really well. We didn't get any blackberries from it this year. Maybe in the fall we'll get some, or next year. So here's one of our cherry trees, and they do this every year. The sun, the heat starts to get to them, and their leaves start to brown because it is so hot. And so I try to keep on the water. I water every other day and really try to soak them. That's what's going on right now. And they usually pull through. They'll be fine. Over here is our plum tree, and we picked all the plums. There's still a few on here that we left for the birds. But we got a whole crate full, and I'll put a picture at the end of the video of the whole crate full of plums. I have tons and tons of plums in the freezer now. I'm waiting to get my other freezer set up so that I can have one that's just for produce and then one that is just for meat. So hopefully that'll happen soon. Our PG&E, our electric bill will probably be a lot, but I just want to have them separated so that it's easier to find things. So like I was saying about the raspberry bush, it's definitely propagating itself all around. So what I'm going to do is probably dig this up and plant it over in the fairy gnome garden because it'll get destroyed by the dogs over here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So that brings us here to the mission fig, and as you can see, we got some figs. This is our second round. When the days were really hot, like 105 plus, this fig, you know, was still growing, but it wasn't, the fruit wasn't ripening. And now that we're kind of just barely in 100, like we'll hit 100 as like a high. Oh. But yeah, now that we spend most of the day in the 90s, these are doing a lot better. So we're gonna come over here, and sorry about all the poop. Here is our mandarin. As you can see, the heat is kind of getting to these leaves too. But we do have mandarins, and they're getting bigger. They're growing and doing well, so that's exciting. Also over here, we have our orange. I'm really hoping next year this will do well. I'm definitely going to be giving it a lot of fertilizer in the spring, and hopefully it'll do well. Over here we have our limes. They're doing really good, getting big. Like these ones over here are getting really big. So we'll be picking some limes, and that's good because I have some tomatoes I need to use to make salsa. So we'll be making some salsa with those limes. Over here, these are our grapefruit. They're getting big. They're looking really good. We have a lot more than we did last year. Last year we only had 2, and we have a lot more than 2 this year. Now over here, this is my prize right here. Look at all these lemons. They're doing so well. There's so many. Last year we only got maybe 2 or 3 lemons, and this year this tree is just loaded and it's doing really, really well. John wanted to pull it out because it was really struggling, but I fertilized it really well in the spring and it really paid off because it's doing really good. And there's lots of lemons on here. I'm excited. Over here is our pomegranate, and you know I've struggled with bugs, and so I'm just hopeful. I put these on, the bugs didn't care about them, just the flies. So I'm hopeful that some of these will be good and it won't be like last year where we harvested, but they were all rotten on the inside from those dumb bugs. They inject something into them and makes them yucky. So I'm gonna have to do some more research to figure out how to get rid of these bugs other than just picking them off. Here is our plum. This is the candy heart plum. We got quite a few candy hearts from it, more than I thought we were going to, and so I have those in the freezer to make something with them. And then here is our other cherry tree, and again its leaves are kind of dying just from the heat, and so I'm just going to keep watering them, and hopefully the temperatures, they're supposed to relax next week, so hopefully we won't have any more super high 100s because that really scorches their leaves. So now I'm in the main garden, and I had Kajari melons and watermelon and stuff in here, but they did not do well. And so what I'm gonna do is put some new compost in this and then cover it in some of the chicken bedding from inside our chicken coop. We don't have any chickens right now. So I'm just gonna take all that stuff and put it on here, just get it ready for the fall so it can sit for a couple months, and then I'll go ahead and plant things in the fall. Same with over here. Same thing. You can see that I don't know if you can really see it, but the asparagus is still in there. I'm hoping for a lot of asparagus next year. I got to get all these weeds out and just reset these beds. I had weed problems really bad this year, and I tried so hard to stay on top of it, but it just got out of control. So basically it's just going to be a reset in all these beds, and I have a lot of bedding from the chicken coop that I'm going to put in here and just get it ready for the fall when I plant things in the fall. I do have a few tomatoes. My tomatoes have really struggled this year. I tried planting sunflowers to kind of shade the tomatoes, but I think that just kind of hindered them from growing, so I definitely won't be doing that next year. Grapes are doing well. They're really getting big over here and really spreading out. I got lots of weeds. So basically I'm just kind of letting this go until it gets a little bit cooler. It's supposed to be cooler next week, so I probably will get started on some of these beds that don't really have anything growing in them. I do have more tomatoes over here, and I have a few, and some of my peppers are doing pretty good. I just really need to get in here and weed now that it's going to be a little bit cooler, only in the 90s. Should be easier to get out here and weed. I've had 2 really good zucchini plants. Out of all the plants that I planted, I've had 2 that have done pretty well. I'm hoping they're setting fruit, so I'm hoping that I'll get a few more now that it's cooling off a little bit, and maybe while we're just sitting in the 90s for a few days, that we'll actually get a few a few zucchinis. Over here is more grapevines. Those are Thompson grapes. Over here too, it's just gotten attacked by a sunflower. I should have just pulled it out when it was little, but you live, you learn. Over here is my cucumbers. As you can see, they're kind of crazy. I definitely have had pretty good luck this year, because last year I didn't get any cucumbers really. And I planted the Armenian, and before it got really hot, they were doing really well, and so they're starting to die back now. But I do have some flowers over there, so the Armenian cucumbers did really well for me. I also have the, what is it? Marabella or something, spinach. And I thought that this would do better than it has been doing. They told me it was going to take over, and I mean, so far it's gotten big, but it hasn't taken over or anything. So anyways, thanks for hanging out on this garden tour. Yeah, it's really going to be probably next month. You'll see a lot of resetting going on. I'm hoping to get that all done, and yeah, just getting ready for the fall. I'm getting excited about it. The summer garden has been a little bit of a struggle. Other than the fruit trees, they're doing really well. But I'm really hoping that we'll get a good fall garden going, because last year I did really well with my fall winter garden. I was really happy and I learned a lot, and so I'm hoping that this year I can take what I've learned and do really well. So anyways, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.